was meant to start this whole thing is now gonna be where this whole thing ends. And if there is a blessing in that curse of what happened in 2014, it's the fact that there is a chance that this artist and those people that were sweet enough to get those tunes before now have a chance to hopefully see each other again. It's the greatest privilege and the greatest joy an artist can have to play Ireland. It's the greatest heartache to be told you can't. So this has been a roller coaster ride for me. I don't know if it has been for you guys.
We love you, Garth.
Thank you. But simply can't wait. In between September and now, we have about 17 stadiums lined up to finish the tour. But the stadium tour and this chapter of our life will end in what I have told anybody that will listen, the greatest place to play music. And the fact that it's Croke Park makes it even better. If there was any way we could have put the 400,000 tickets in Croke Park and to the point, we would have. It's just, it's a guaranteed good time to play. So, I would like to cover anything that the venue or the publicists need to be covered. If not, if we've got everything covered, because you guys know all the dates and stuff, then I kind of enjoy talking with you instead of at you. So, Ms. Nancy, if it's okay, if we can open up conversations, can we do that?
So great, if anybody has a question, just raise your hand. We have roving mics on either side.
And the one thing that I ask is please identify yourself so I'll know who I'm talking to.
Let's start with Eddie Rowley there in the front row, Claire, please.
Hi, Garth.
How you doing?
Eddie Rowley from the Sunday World.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
I know it's a long time ago, but can you remind us how you first made the connection with Ireland and who was the man who originally brought you here?
Okay, so Bob Doyle is my guy. Bob's here today, and so Bob had a relationship with a gentleman named Jim Aiken, right? Which, for fun, we always just called him Jim Aiken. That was it, the whole thing. And the Aiken family. So Jim was the one that said, "We want to have you over here at a place called The Point." So it's great seeing I know who we are. He goes, "Oh yeah, you'll be surprised," but every promoter says that. And then he goes, "I would be surprised if we don't do multiple shows." That kind of threw us all off. Because country music is very American. It just is. But there was something in that music, something in those lyrics, and if I could credit somebody, would be Alan Reynolds, the producer of that music, that seems to have a touch of creating stuff that goes way beyond any borders. And I don't know, it was so sweet. It was so sweet to come here and hear people sing your stuff louder than you and sing it totally on pitch, totally in time. And they seem to know every word of every song, even the album cuts. And at that time, I was married to the girl's mom, Sandy, and I called her from stage, is what I remember. But I just told her, I said, "You're not going to believe this." So her and the girls came back to Croke Park, probably 4 years later, 97 or 5 years later, in 97, and they all got to witness it. So I think that's what I remember is just when I hit the airport today, I had the mask on, so I couldn't figure out how everybody knew it was me. So that's what threw me off about The Point. I'm not from here. I think it stand out like a sore thumb here, right? But so how come I feel like I'm home here, right? That's the thing. So that's what I remember. How about you? What do you remember? Do you remember anything about it?
Oh yeah, I remember those early days. I mean, he took off like a rocket straight away. But it was Jim Aiken, of course, who
Yes.
he understands what country music means to Irish people. He understood that, and he also sought artists who would absolutely rip Ireland apart, and he did that.
Very sweet. I'm a fan of the Aiken family. When I don't know if any of you guys speak cowboy. In the cowboy world, Bob Doyle and I have talked about this, and Randy Bernard and I have talked about this. There's a saying, you hang with the mob you run with. So good or bad, shoulder to shoulder, you stand with it. I stand with the Aiken family. And I will stand with the Aiken family as long as they will let me be a family member with them. So as much as I dearly love Jim, it's easy to love his son just as much. So it's fun to get to be part of this.
Okay, Sinead up there.
Hi Garth.
Hi, Miss Sinead.
How are you? Welcome back to Croke Park.
Thank you very much. I can't tell you how I wanted to hear that for so long.
You were due to play, or you would hope to play 5 concerts last time. Now there's 2 going on sale, as
Yes,
we know
ma'am.
this week. What's the plan? Would you like to do 5? Do you think you'll do 5?
Yes, ma'am. I'd love to do 5, but I'd also like to be 6'5" and have abs. Miss Sinead, I think me and you can agree on this. What happened in 2014 is a freaking miracle. I mean, who does numbers like that, right? So you got 400,000 hard tickets in one city, one show. It's impossible. There's no way we're going to do that again. There's just no way. So I think what the thing is was, what I wanted was the chance for all 5 shows to be there for the 5 bunches of people at a time. It's very sweet that we've been granted that. We'll give back the shows that we don't use, but I can't see us doing 5. That would be, would I like it? Yes. Love it. Is it going to happen? I think it would be awesome. Just try to.
Okay, thank you, Garth. Just on your right-hand side here.
Who is it?
Hi Garth, Christina Finn from the
Hi,
Journal.
Miss Christine.
How are you? Good to welcome you back at your last Croke Park here, but my mum had tickets last time, so.
I was going to say, your mom had to bring you last time.
Oh yeah, I was pretty young, so I wasn't familiar with your music then, but I loved it ever since then, so it really made a good impression, so I think a lot of
Do you
people
still
will.
have your mama?
I do, and she's, I think she's watching it on Facebook.
Really?
I was trying to get her in here today,
What is
but
her name?
unfortunately not.
What is her name?
Catherine.
You tell Miss
Finn, so-
Catherine I love her. Okay?
Yeah, she, oh my gosh, absolutely
You
died.
also tell her I said she raised you right.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if I didn't mention it, but sorry, I just had a question. It was such a massive debacle here last time in 2014, involving Taoiseach, I think the Mexican ambassador, calls for the White House. Were you familiar with how much of a massive storm that it was back here? Was that conveyed to you in terms of the massive sort of controversy that it really did cause here?
It was conveyed to me. Let me see if I can explain this. How much of it did I understand? I probably understood as much as I could, but at the same time here, you probably couldn't understand. It was like a death in the family to us. Man, that hurt. So, I was telling Nancy, my thing is just try not to get emotional, right? Because it's still very fresh for me. It's like something I've never experienced. And one of those things where you go, surely this isn't going to end this way, right? So it was one of those things that was a little hard to understand. But your parents raise you to hopefully know what right and wrong is. What my right and wrong is, what your right and wrong might not be the same, but we both believe in them. Okay, fair enough? So the right thing to do, it all was based on a group of people out of Limerick. When the first 3 went on sale, Ticketmaster went down in Limerick, and nobody from Limerick got tickets. So when Peter said they're going to let you do 2 more shows, Ticketmaster sent a whole crew up to Limerick and made sure everyone in the queue was taken care of. That brings this. Thank God, we did what was right. We got what was right. And now we were told, you're gonna have to tell those 2 shows, or pick any 2 shows, right? It wasn't what I was raised to be as right. So we either all win together or we all lose together. And so I chose the latter, because I couldn't find a fair way to do it. So we just treat everybody equally. So I'm not sure what it was over here, it was, in my opinion, if it was half as bad as it was over there at home, then it must have been pretty bad. I don't know how personal it was for you guys, but you guys have always treated me like I'm from here, so if it was personal for you, then you kind of know how we all felt on our side. And try to remember the same guys that were here in 97, 98 will be here. So we all went through it together. You know, there's 7 of us that started this crazy Green and Dive bars with Bob Dole in '89. There's 5 of us still playing together. That's it. All the crew guys are exactly the same that was here in Croke. So, if you haven't seen me do this yet, blessing and curse. The blessing of being Dublin and being Ireland, playing Belfast. The blessing is you get to be among what you think human beings would define love the best. Love this country. The curse is, you don't live here, you don't get to experience it every day. And the chance you got, it's gonna take it away. So it's stuff, man. When you're the fun place to play and you're the party, it's tough when you don't get to go to the party. Does that answer your question?
Done, thank you.
Can we go for Ken, Henry, and then Joe, all in the front row there, please? Thank you. Ken first.
Hi, gentlemen. Garth Ken Sweeney from the Irish Sun. How are you? Due to the Mexican ambassador Sterling work the last time, would you invite him to the concert?
Due to the who? My thing is this. Forgive me, I don't know your humor, so I don't know if you're being serious or not. I will tell you this. What happened at the Point, what happened at Croke Park, I would invite anybody to see. So Randy Bernard, he's kind of like the new guy. We've been together for about 8 or 9 years. He's the new guy. I told him, he's seen everything. As the comeback tour, we did 391 shows at the comeback tour. This guy has seen it all. I told him he ain't seen nothing. So we run on the stadium tour. And this is not to be egotistical, it's to kind of prove a point. The stadium tour, we're over 20 stadiums plus. So let's just pick it up, 22. 22 stadiums, 22 sellouts, 22 attendance records. And he goes, Ireland really is, I said, dude, can't mention. So we went to Denver. Denver touched it. I got to watch it in Denver. He comes back and goes, that might be the greatest show. I said, just wait. Just wait. You're not going to believe this. So my thing is, I will invite anybody and everybody to watch this because you guys live here. So I don't know if you take it for granted or what, but I'm telling you, I've been around the world. There's no place like this.
Garth, last time there were supposed to be, a lot of celebrities and musicians coming in from America to see the gig. I'm so proud of what you were going to put on at Croke Park. I was just wondering, are those people coming in again, those artists coming in again to see it?
I don't know. I really don't know. What I want is I want the people here that it hurt as bad as it hurt here. Those are the people I want. So if 10 of them show up, I'm fine with 10 of them. Let the sound bounce off the ABCs, I'm fine. Whatever that is, that's the ones that I want. Because there are things that make things what they are. And Ireland, it's its people that make this country special.
And is there an element of putting it right, coming back this time to do these gigs, putting it right what didn't happen the last time where the gigs that were cancelled?
Yeah. And again, here's the blessing and the curse. You wanted to start the tour here. That'd have been cool. How frickin' as cool is it gonna be to end the tour here, right? I mean, if you don't think things can get better, add Ireland to the mix, and it gets better. But my thing is, it would be behind me, and now I got it to look forward to. So I'm not the happy kind of, well, let's look on the bright side guy. I'm pretty dark. But getting this news, man, that made me happy. Just the chance, the opportunity.
Garth, Henry Keane from News Talk. Just to say, you look great.
Thank you.
Get that out of the way, and you do. And it's been 8 years. We talk about it like a death in the family. We talk about that heartache, and the fact that just driving here, I drove through rural Ireland to come and see you. I put on some of your greatest hits, and you know, why is it, my question to you is, getting over that heartache, forgiving on all sides of what happened, and coming back to see the Irish fans, what does that mean to you? And I can hear an emotion in your voice, and I can hear a tear in your eye. I mean, you know, is all forgiven?
Oh, it's not mine to forgive. I don't hold anything to anybody. You got to understand, if you have a chance to play Ireland, you're the lucky son of a bitch. You just are. The fact that you got to sell 400,000 tickets, oh my God, that's amazing. So that alone, you take with you. Thank you, right? But the chance to now get to come back and get to play for those people, that's a wonderful thing. But all is forgiven. It's not. I don't hold a grudge against anybody. I felt lucky for the opportunity. The opportunity was swept away, and I thought it was gone. And then when I got the call from Peter, in a sweet, funny, his own kind of humorous way, hey, would you be interested in playing Ireland? Like, Peter, if I could reach you this phone, I'd grab you right now. It was great. So there is nothing for me to be forgiven. If anything is to be forgiven, it's from those people that had those tickets. And if they will forgive me for whatever part I played in it and come back and see us at the big race.
So Joe, just beside Henry there?
Yes.
Hi Garth, Joe Cooney, Midlands 103. Firstly, I'm a massive country music fan. I don't know about all the guys here, they're all press and so on, but me personally.
I'll leave him.
What you're doing now is one of my favourite songs of yours. I watched your On the Road Netflix.
Yes, sir.
You are an absolutely amazing person. Forget about singing for a minute, but as a person, you are a wonderful person. You're very emotional. Yes. Absolutely. I want to just ask you a question about you had three, watching the Netflix coverage of it, you have three huge things in your life. Now, I'm not going to give it an order because you know the order, but music, of course, way back in the day. Your mom, your children,
Yes.
and of course your first wife, Sandy, and Tricia Smokes, there's four of them. Tricia, you're one. You gave up being one of the most successful, still are, by the way, as far as we're concerned here in Ireland, you are the dogs, we won't use the other word for it, but it's a great expression. It's one that means you are the absolute top dog as far as we're concerned here. You gave up all of that to do something that I absolutely, totally love and respect you for doing. And that is to look after your three children. And to do it in a very weird fashion in that you both your wife, when you divorced, and you had three big things happening. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here. You had a divorce happening. You had your mom diagnosed, your wonderful mom, you watched her sing, what a beautiful singer she was. And that's where you got your brogue, your Irish brogue, by the way. Of course, Holly and Carol, great Irish name, of course. But the question to you is this. During that time, and you did a great job, I mean, you had them out mixing concrete, you had your children, the girls, by the way, lads. I'm a lad, I wouldn't know how to mix concrete. You had the girls, and Irish people should know how to do that for sure, but you were mixing concrete, building bridges at a very, very young age. But during that time that you were away from something you really loved, I know you're with something you love even more, your children, when did you start to, feel the draw to, missing of the road, to get back on the road again?
How many people here are parents? Okay, well, you'll maybe a couple of you won't agree with me. But is there anything cooler than your kids? I mean, getting to be a parent, to hold those babies, to have them fall asleep on your chest while you're pushing the cart to the grocery store, I would give anything to have those days back. I'm not that guy that goes, man, high school was the coolest time of my life, right? I think now is the coolest time of my life, but if I could go back, it would be when those babies thought you hung and everything.
And they still do.
Yeah, well. Let's see. It wasn't me. It was Miss Sherwood. When the first two girls, when Taylor went to college, couldn't leave her. It was really tough to leave her to come back home. And then Augie went to college. By the time the third girl, Allie, was going to college, I had my foot on her back trying to get her out of the house, right? But Miss Sherwood started to see me get really antsy, because those girls for 14 years was every part of their life. everything you did was for them, as parents do. And it's a joy and an honor. I'm not saying it was a job. And she was the one that said, would you ever think about going on tour? And I said, well, I would love to go on tour again, but two, could we get all the guys back? And two, would anybody show up? And so
You have millions of children around the world begging you to come back.
it's very sweet. It's very sweet. So I think what happened with Ireland, if I may presume, and Ms. Sinead, why I think 5 shows might be out of the question, is I think what happened in 2014, we're not on YouTube. We made the decision to not be on YouTube. We kind of keep ourselves kind of private for that for 14 years. So what happened was parents started talking to their kids about Garth Brooks. And as we all know, stories are much better than the truth. And Garth Brooks was 6'5" with that. And he was great, and I think that generation, I know this is what happened in America, that generation came out. They knew all the words, they knew everything, but they knew from their parents. So I think that's why it happened to us, why they came out like that. But now I think kids will grown up a little more, they're more realistic, and they've seen it. So I would be totally shocked if we end up with the same chance we had to do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank
One
you.
more question.
Yes.
I don't want to one with you at home today. Would you sign my guitar for me? Thank you very much for that.
I think it's.
Going to go to Valerie here?
So is it true that the press doesn't like music at all? Is that? Hi, Miss Valerie. How are you?
I'm Valerie, this is Ed, we're from Fully Charged and Spencer
What is
West
your
Rugby
name?
Show. Valerie and Ed.
Hey.
Yeah. 2 separate questions. My own question to you is, you're coming in September next year, and just a couple of weeks before you come, there's 2 big massive games on here in Croke Park, an All-Ireland final. Have you ever seen the game of hurling?
No,
Would you
no.
go to the game of hurling? Would you come to the All-Ireland?
Yeah. Any sport where people just absolutely knock the living shit. That's kind of like our show. I enjoy it.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, Garth, as much as we all are excited to see you here, of course, when live gigs happen, I think for me, what I love is just the whole experience, even the support acts. Do you have any idea who will support you
No.
at the gig? Do you have any ambitions or any hopes for anyone up and coming that you can recommend?
No, all I know is anybody that gets to play in front of an Irish crowd, it's the greatest gift you can give them. So, no, we're going to check and see. I would love to be where you guys are at in your head. You're seeing this thing already happen. I'm still hoping 10 people show up. Can we just get through the office?
As well, we got an emotional mix in Limerick. We're based in Limerick.
Yes.
We have a fine venue down there, sorry, Croke Park, but it's to get you further across the country.
You know, me and Bob were talking about this because what was offered to us when the 2014 thing happened was to just do a tour of Ireland, right? That would make sense. My problem is, I guess, because of my love for Croke Park, is I wanted it to be here. And it's my idea of what heaven is, right? So the fact that we waited and waited and they were sweet enough to let us now come here. Once we're here and that is behind us in our lives, then I think it opens up pretty cool things. And we're doing something in the States. I don't know what to compare them to here. We're doing what we call a dive bar tour over in the States. And now you go back into these places you started when you had only one single. And you would play that same single like 3 times in a night, and they were so sweet to make it sound like it was the first time you played it. But now you roll in there with a catalog of 20, 30 songs that they know every word of, in a tight little space. Those things are fabulous. And it kind of brings back the whole, when you're talking about Jim Aiken and the point, it brings back all the whole reason why you got into this. So I would love to do that here. It's like much, much smaller places. And just have fun. I mean, because you can hear people, what they're thinking. That's how close you are to it. I love that. It's fun.
Thank you. We're just going to get a mic around to Tommy here from WLOR.
How you doing? Good.
Thank you, Tommy.
Hey Garth, it's Vincent from
Sorry,
WLOR. Like the dive bar. 2 questions in one. The stage, the production, the setup. There were reports the last time that you had constructed a stage, especially for Croke Park, that maybe went into storage. Since then, the stage in the States has been kind of cool. It's been a big a stadium stage, but there's lots of front rows almost in the round, so there's still that connection with you and the front row. So what can we expect on that scale? And also, is there the possibility that you could scout some venues for a Garth Brooks dive bar show while you're here?
You know what, again, back to Miss Sinead, it just depends how long we're here. But my thing is, while you're in the land of dessert, eat. This is a great place. I love it. And Mick Devine knows every place on the planet. And you just saddle up with him when you go around. The stage, let's address the stage. The stage is bigger than the stadiums that we're playing in right now, because this stage was designed for this chance. So we're finally going to get to put it on a field that it's going to look appropriate in. Right now it's too big. And in the States, what they do is the full 360. So there's front row out. It won't be that way here. We'll play at one end back toward this way. I think that's because probably tradition, people understand that a little better. And for camera's sake, it'll hopefully look bigger because we're going to be filming this. You have to. You know, people, I think if they talk about Garth Brooks and they talk about the crown jewel in Garth Brooks' career, most people are going to go Central Park 1997. I told Central Park in 1997, wait a minute, there was a gig we played 2 months before this in Dublin, Ireland. And the footage from that is just, it's ungodly. It's amazing. So I feel very, very lucky to have this opportunity. We'll probably set it up more traditional. At the same time, you got to raise your stage up so you put more people on the pitch so they can see. But as long as they give me what they gave me last time, was a way to get down to those people, that's the most fun thing on the planet. And it's funny, like in sports, people go, wow, that's crazy. No, that's the fun part. Getting up there and being this chubby guy in a cowboy hat running around, that's okay. When you get down and you get to feel their hands, you get to look in their eyes, and they will tell you stories while you're singing. And it's just so beautiful. So I look forward to that.
I think we could go to Trina here from
Hello, Ms. Trina.
I'm sorry.
How are you?
How are you, Garth? Trina here. It's been a long time since I'm sure this room have seen a live concert because of COVID and all
Yes,
the rest. And you mentioned a couple of questions ago how you love an intimate crowd. I'm going to be very cheeky and I'm going to ask you, would you sing us a bar of one of your songs here today with this intimate crowd?
That's very sweet. I'm going to be cheeky right back and say it's 4 a.m. So I can't believe you might be the first female I've ever said this. No. Thank you. Well, what I like about the dive bars and why it's working is you can fully vaccinate dive bars. So that's fun. That's why we canceled the stadium tour and refunded the money again over there because the second wave was coming. You want to do your part. So you can believe in the vaccination, you believe it or not. It's not my point to make that stance. But my point is to make you know as an artist what I do. So I'm fully vaccinated, fully masked all the way to the end of this year. Now we'll see what the CDC says and what everything for the last year in the stadium tour, which I'm hoping it'll be a little more freer. But if not, we've kind of grown accustomed this way. But just the chance to get out and play again. You're watching football. Right now you're watching a lot of sports outdoor, watching how they're handling it. If you still look though, if they show the full stadium, it's about half full. People aren't trusting it all yet, but hopefully I heard that in Europe, and forgive me if my information is wrong, I heard in Europe we might be heading toward another lockdown coming up here. I'm hoping that the states can avoid that, but since we can't agree on vaccination and stuff like that, we seem to be following whatever happens over here about 2 months later over there. So we'll see. I sure would love to not have to cancel any more shows.
So I've been turned down by Garth Brooks.
Just directly behind Trina, I'm sorry.
Hi, it's Janice here from the RT Guide.
Miss Janice?
Nice to see you again. I was in New York and I saw you in Vegas as well, and that Croke Park gig back in the day, so big
no
fan.
kidding.
Yeah.
You were in Vegas
I was.
for the full band or the one-man show?
The one-man show.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you tell me, I don't want to put you on the spot, do you have a preference between the big band and the one-man show?
They're so different. I think
They're very
for a fan, the one-man show is really nice because you get to know so much more about you.
Yes.
And it was so intimate. I actually roared across the crowd at you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Did we talk?
We did, yeah. Yeah. Briefly, yeah.
That's funny. I must have sang for her.
Makes it even worse. It makes it even worse.
But my question was, I remember when I was younger and I'd watch your videos, and you always said that in a stadium you'd sit at the furthest seat back
Sure.
to see how you reach that person. Will you do that in Croke Park?
You have to. You have to know what they're seeing, right? So I like the further seats back because I look thinner the farther in. I like those seats, but my thing is when you're playing, that's me. So my first concert I ever got to go to was Styx. Okay? My brother took me. My brother was cursed with the little brother always having to take him, right? So he was a big Styx fan. We went second row from the top, over on the right. And I watched them. This was before video, so they were all like this. And I was in the room. Second show we went to see was Kansas. Again, he had to bring his little brother. And again, we were second row from the top. But those two bands were so good that you felt, I got to see Freddie Mercury from row 13 in Oklahoma City. That was amazing. But I know Freddie Mercury enough and a big enough fan to know that if I was second from the top, I would have felt exactly the same way I did on row 13. So those are the people you want to sit up there. You want to see what you look like. And so you want to, even though you've got video, now these become your eyebrows, right? These become your communication with them. And if there is any moment in that show that somebody up there feels like me and you are looking at each other, then hopefully I've done it.
Thank you. The gentleman beside Dennis.
Hi Garth.
What's your name?
I'm Colin McGrath,
Hey, Colin.
and I work for Clare FM. Our past history is that I was at one of your 97 gigs here with my first ever girlfriend. It lasted longer than that weekend, but not too much longer. That wasn't your fault. My question is this. I live in Clare, and in your song Ireland, you wrote about rolling fields of green and fences made of stone, and that's pretty much what we have in Clare, as well as a love of traditional music. When you come here next year, is it your intention to tour the rest of the country, see the rest of Ireland, wave the cliffs of Moher, and if so, can I bring in a personal tour?
You know what I have. Of course. The big, wow, I can't believe we're even going to go here. What I'm about to tell you doesn't have anything to do with music. I'm with the love of my life now. To breathe the same air that woman's breathing, to be in the same room with her at any time. So I am hoping that me and her is going to go hand in hand and scour every foot of this place because she loves this place as much as I do.
I wouldn't be a gooseberry.
So yeah, we're gonna enjoy it. So it'll be one of those things where Mission Aid and others are going, Garth, are you ever going to leave? Because we're going to wear this place out because the opportunity is now here in front of us. We realize from 2014 how rare this chance is going to get to be. So we're going to take it.
We're going to go to Roland McGreevy of the Irish Times, just there.
Hey, Rowan.
Hi Gareth, can I recommend a little town in County Leitrim called Cork and Shannon?
I'm taking notes.
Gareth, just wanted to ask you about a lot of performers and artists have had a really bad time the last 22 months with gigs being shut down and stuff like that. How's the last 22 months been for you as a performer?
Well, thank God and the people they have set us up. So when we did go into retirement, right? The only reason you get to do that is God and the people have allowed you financially to do that as well, right? So how lucky was I to get to go home and spend every day with my children? Well, it's the same thing in these 2 years. How lucky are we, band and crew, to still be paid as if we're out there rolling and we're not getting to roll? So these guys are hopefully taking advantage of it. We got some guys that have kids that are graduating high school. Good for them. Worked out. Their timing worked out for them. They got to see everything, didn't have to miss anything. So I think what you're trying to do is trying to find the blessing and the curse. But the truth is, I don't know about you guys, I've never been through anything like ever. So it's kind of weird to just sit down, but you're sitting down because you think that's what's best for the people, right? So yeah, you miss it, you want to, but hopefully, also hats off to our government over there who have been taking care of a lot of the workers that are out of work, state fair workers, all these people in entertainment. Hope they're doing it, but the truth is, it's kind of jumped up, and I don't know about you guys, but it's jumped up with a big bang over there where people are just ready to get out. So hopefully the money is coming back into the entertainment, and hopefully it's coming in on the level that takes care of those crew guys, those people, those hot dog vendors at state fairs where they can make a living for their family. Again, I would love for this to be on the backside of us, but I thought it was that way in mid this year when we started touring again, and then the second wave came, which I had no idea was coming. So kind of praying that there's no third wave. I don't know how we do it if we don't all get on the same page of how to stop it. But what have you seen in that 22 months of, I've seen a lot of people go into different line of work, if that makes any sense. How about you?
It's the same. I've just seen that a lot of musicians in this country are really suffering. They've had to depend on government supports for the last almost 2 years, and it's been very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's tough. So you just, you wonder, and the thing is too, I don't want to get too deep or too downer on this thing, but everything comes in waves, right? So Paul McCartney came in, in a wave, and Van Morris and Freddie Mercury, all these people come in a wave. Who did we miss in this 2 years that never got to lift off? And what will that bring us in the future? So the thing with what's going on now that I want all of us to think about too is our actions will depict the future. Let's be wise, let's be loving, let's try and do it all together.
So just over here, Paul Quinn, Virgin Radio News.
Hey Paul.
Hey Garth, how are you?
Good.
I think we're all trying to prove who's the biggest fan here today. Along with my friend from Midlands down there. I saw you back in '97 with my mum and my dad and my younger brother. So when my boss 2 months ago came to me and said, we're going to break the story that Garth is coming back to Ireland, I jumped at the chance.
Very sweet. How did you know?
Oh, we have sources, friends on all places, Garth.
Well, good, because I found out about 4 weeks ago.
We were just teeing it up for you. You said there was like a death in the family 2014. And you said, it's not up for, like you hope that people forgive you, that you're not looking for forgiveness. What is it about the Irish fans, or what is it about their passion for what you do that makes coming back so special?
There's a big word, sincerity. Okay, so sincerity, you'll go into, let's go into any city. Let's say the city's name is X. That city is going to rename streets, right? Rodeo Drive, Fred's Low Places Boulevard, all the way to the venue. The venue's going to have your stuff up there, spinning, right? They're doing all of this for you. Next week, somebody else is going to be in the street sign's going to change, right? I get that feeling here. Let's go. And it can be Garth because you're stupid. I'm fine with that. There is something that goes on here that I can't explain, that I'm not deserving of, but damn, give me a fork in each hand, because it's wonderful to get to see those faces, hear them sing, and the sincerity in their faces. The sincerity in the faces when you see them out on the street, when you hug them. There's a sincerity here that I can't explain. And if it's my own, whatever it is, nativity, sorry, we have a rule on the farm, you can't say a word you can't spell, so nativity is probably not the right word. But if it is my own nativity, then I'll live with it. That ignorance is bliss thing. I'm in love with this country, and I have felt.
Garth, it will indeed, because your mum being Irish is
My mom lives forever.
So we have Rita here from UTV Live.
What is it now?
Hi Gareth, Rita, yes, from UTV in Belfast. We have been up north, we've been dusting off our line dancing shoes. It's a bit of a craze that I think you are solely responsible for. Any chance you'll come up and see us do a bit of dance up there? Any chance that you'll be up to Belfast,
It's been a place that's always taken care of us. So, like I said, I'm with the Queen. I mean, I'm with her. So, and they have always, and please forgive me, I'm not going to get it right. Is it King's Hall?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think that's where we played in Belfast to end the tour in '98, maybe. So it's always been home for us up there. And I know there's people that are here know there are boundaries and borders. For me, they treated me the same there. So yeah, I enjoy that. That's as much part of Ireland for us as Dublin is.
Well, we look forward to seeing you up there someday.
Thank you very much. Very sweet.
So just on your far left there, Garth.
Oh.
Hi, it's Linda from the Art. What was worse than 97 was I went with an ex-boyfriend. That's how much.
Was he your ex at the time? Wow.
That's dedication.
When you came back in 97 and have told the family you guys have to see this, was there a small worry it wouldn't be the same?
Sure. The same way here.
And at what point did you realise, oh, it was right?
No. Trust me, the point was fabulous. Croke Park blew the point out of the water. What I'm hoping is Croke Park 22 blows Croke Park 97 out of the water. That's what we hope. Why are you coming here if that's not the hope, right? So the thing is, for me, when I get in that position, Bob Dole's the first guy that's going to tell me this. Don't try to do too much. Don't push it. Just go out there and let the music kind of speak. That catalog, when people go, what do you, if you think you know why this is happening to you, why all the things that good that's happened to you has happened, I don't know, because there's so many more artists that are, beautiful, talented, all this stuff. But if God or a hand came out with a box, and in that box was the answer, I hope it says the music in it. Because the thing is, don't push so hard. That catalog of music, from the dance to Call of Mountain Rouge, Friends of Low Places, the Thunder Rolls, and this is all the early stuff. As September comes, we'll be flooding this place with a lot of the later stuff too. There's some beautiful stuff that's just as much Garth early as late. I understand as a fan, when I go to a concert, nothing will piss me off worse than going to a concert and some guy dump a whole new album on me that I'm like, where's the old stuff, right? That's why I came here. I know that. So if the Irish people don't mind staying here a little bit, we've got a lot more music than we did before, but we're not going to leave any of the old music at home.
Yeah. Thank you. Just here, gentleman here on your right.
Hi Garth, how's it going? My name is Sean Murray from the Irish Examiner.
Hey Sean.
Obviously last time you sold so many tickets and you were disappointed as much as the people who bought the tickets were. And I know you have 2 confirmed so far. Was there any kind of consideration to maybe, if we couldn't get maybe the 5 again, to maybe look elsewhere in the country at some other like fine venues and stadiums that we have, such as Cork? Like I know the Taoiseach, our Prime Minister, said recently that he's from there, he'd love to see you there. Was there any consideration given to other places like that?
Yeah, I think what happened was what I explained to them earlier. We were lucky enough to have that offered to us. Peter Aiken was one of those guys that was trying to figure out an answer, which was very sweet. But once you have been given the goblet, right? Once you've been given the prize, the trophy, it's kind of all you can think about. And so the fact that you didn't get to do 5, but now they call you and say the 5 is yours, that to me kind of completes the circle that we were talking about here. And it would be nice to complete that, because in my life I have chapters that I like to complete, and this was going to be one that was going to be forever open. But now the chance to close it is here, and I'm going to take it. After that, I don't know. After that, it might be, oh, Garth's coming here again. Because I would like to close this chapter.
Just at the very top far left there.
Hello, Garth. My name is Kevin Sharkey from BBC News in Northern Ireland. Kevin Sharkey.
Kevin, nice.
Welcome back to Ireland.
Thank you, sir.
Can I ask you, in view of the high drama and transatlantic diplomacy and public fascination with the events of 2014, how aware are you of your place now firmly established in Irish folklore?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm a musician, a storyteller, an artist. That's what I focus. That's what I do. So hopefully there'll come a time in September when someone puts their hand around the back of my neck and says, go. That's all I know. Then it's my job from there forward to make the memories of people with their mom, people with their brothers, people with their exes. That's my job. And if you say you are a part of this folklore forever, I would love for it to be more about the music than for any debacle that it was called in 2014. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Thank you. We have one there as well.
How are you doing, sir?
Mike Gilmore with FM 104 News.
Hey, Mike.
I'm wondering if you have your ear out, or if any Irish talent has caught your ear of late, and I know you've said you haven't given much consideration to the Support Act just yet, but I'm wondering, would you give an opportunity to some local emerging talent, to get that chance?
You have to, don't you? I mean, that's the fun part of it. And please don't think I'm twisted or sick. I love to put a new artist in front of 70,000 people. Just pat them on the butt. Go get them. I mean, watch what happens. Some of them totally fall apart. And you know what you do with them? You take them to the next city and do it again. Right? Because they're going to get better and they're going to get better. Some go out there and immediately, it's like a duct of water. You know what you do with them? Never work with them again. So yeah, that's the fun part. Get these people in. Get them as scared as you are, nervous as you are. Go out, watch them succeed and fail. But what's the great thing is, Bob Dole can tell you this, is watching your artists learn. Watching them while they're in the fire. Watching them take it in, go, okay, that didn't work. Ooh, that works really well, right? And you watch them, and you get to be a part of them growing up. That's cool, because I'm thinking of the people that Reba McEntire took me in. And it was like, you brought your notebooks, you watched how she did it. Fabulous. Kenny Rogers, country music in our place, the northeast part of the United States, not a big country, was not a big country factor in the late 80s, 90s. Kenny Rogers was a huge actor there. So the fact that he takes a guy in a cowboy hat from Oklahoma to the northeast, which they would never heard him, now I have an opportunity to stand out in front of these people, and you're going, that didn't work. That works, right? So those great, helpful up, don't want to even talk about the awards you win, but the awards you do win, you should turn around and just hand them to Kenny Rogers, Reba McEntire. If I can be that to somebody else, then I feel like I'm doing my job as one of the older guys in business.
I think that's Katie there with her mask on. Can we get a mic around to Katie?
Katie?
Katie.
Katie?
Yeah, an Irish Mer. I was only born in 97, so I can't compete with any of the stories, sorry. Hopefully next year. My question is, after 2014, and we heard the emotion and, the disappointment for you, as with everybody else, was there ever a point that you kind of thought, is this too sore of a wound to reopen, or did you always know and want to come back and, as you said, close the chapter, make sure you kind of righted those wrongs?
We always wanted to. But again, there's so many things in life that you go, surely that's not going to work out that way. And it does. And you live with it. And truthfully, I think you just kind of got to the point of, I guess I'm going to live with it the rest of my life when you get the call. So the first thing you want to do is run out in your yard and drop to your knees and scream as loud as you can. But from going through it in 2014, you just hang up the phone. Probably tell the love of your life. That's probably the only person you'll tell. And then just start thinking about it. What would you do if it happened? Don't let yourself go all the way down the rabbit hole, right? And then you get the news that it's for sure thing. And I don't know about you guys, but we didn't get the news that it was a for sure thing till a week ago, 2 weeks ago, right? I mean, we had known that it was being proposed, but we had already made ourselves a promise, and that anybody that would ever buy a ticket from us again, that this will not happen again. It can't. So we were very not committed anything because you didn't want to fall in love again, right? And so this is all kind of new to me right now. So it's really up here at the surface. But I can tell you, even in September next year, to take that stage and not just bust out into tears, you try and be professional, because that's what people showed up to be. I've never been professional, responsible, any of that stuff. I'm an artist, right? So I just, I think what I'll do is I'll enjoy it more than anybody else, but I'll probably just cry a little bit. And I don't know what the crying thing is. I think it's having kids. Well, I cry at commercials now, so I don't know what it is, but this is a joy for me to be here today. It's always an honor. Extremely.